Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're all okay, and I hope you've had a lovely weekend and you're ready for a new week of guided reading. This week we are going to be looking at a new book. But first, let's remind ourselves of our reading strategies. You can use any of these strategies to help you with your reading, but the ones I want you to focus on are your eagle eye and stretchy snake. Your eagle eye is when you look at the pictures to help you with the words, and your stretchy snake is when you stretch the sounds out in a word slowly and you go back and say the sounds all together. Let's have a go at a stretchy snake of our own. Horrible. H, R, I, B, O. You have a go for me? Fantastic, well done. Let's have another go all together. Horrible. H, R, I, B, O. Good job, well done. The book we're going to look at this week is called The Huge and Horrible Beast. Let's go and have a read. So, boys and girls, here is what our book looks like on Oxford Owl. Let's have a read. The Huge and Horrible Beast. Please don't go on to the next story, as we'll be doing these stories later on in guided reading, so just read The Huge and the Horrible Beast. The Huge and Horrible Beast, a story from Brazil. Once there was a lad from a little farm on the Brazilian plains. His name was Z. Z was bored with a quiet life on the farm, so one day he told his mother and father that he was going off into the big wide world to seek his fortune. His father looked a little worried. You see, Z was brave and warm-hearted, but he was not very clever. If you had asked him what 3 times 8 was, he probably would have said 12. And if you had asked him how to spell extraordinary, he would have tried his best, but got it completely wrong. So his father felt he ought to give him some wise advice. He scratched his head. Then he said, Z, my son, remember this. If you find anything on your way, pick it up and keep it. It might come in handy later. That's wise advice, nodded Z. I shall remember it. Then he kissed his mother, hugged his father, and off he went. He took the track across the plains until he reached fields and forests that he had never seen before. And as he walked through one of the forests, he came across a great, long, twisty length of creeper lying on the path in front of him. Dad told me that if I find anything on my way, I'm to pick it up and keep it, he said to himself. So he picked up the twisty creeper, coiled it several times around his waist, and walked on. He crossed rivers and valleys that he'd never even heard of. At the end of the valleys, Z came across the metal gate. It was so old that it had fallen off its hinges and was lying on the ground. Dad told me that if I found anything on my way, I should pick it up, he said to himself. So he picked up the metal gate, slung it over his shoulder, and walked on. He reached the lakes and hills that he had never even imagined, and as he started up one of the hills, a small pink pig came waddling across the path in front of him. Dad told me that if I found anything on my way, then I should pick it up, he said to himself. So he picked up the pig, tucked it under his arm, and walked on. It was getting dark, and Z was more than a little bit tired, so he decided to find a place to spend the night. About halfway up the hill, there was a small house. He thought he would ask if he could spend the night there. There was a gaggle of hungry-looking children playing in the garden. They stopped and stared when they saw Z walking up their path, with a creeper wrapped round his waist, a gate over his shoulder, and a pig under one arm. Then they burst into giggles. The children's mother looked out the window to see what was happening. Z gave her a cheerful smile. "Good evening, madame," he said. "I'm travelling in search of my fortune. I need somewhere to stay the night." "Well," said the woman, "I am a poor widow with 7 hungry children. There's barely enough room for us all in this small house. All I can offer you is our big black hay barn at the top of this hill." "That would do just fine," said Z. "But," went on the window, "there is one problem." "Oh yes," said Z. "It's a very big problem," said one of the girls. "Yes," said the widow, "a huge, horrible beast lives in that barn." "It's been up there for as long as anyone can remember," said the girl. "No one knows why," added her brother, "but if anyone goes in that barn, they never come back alive," said another boy. "All I'm going to do is curl up in the hay," said Z. "I don't think I'll bother the huge and horrible beast, if there really is one, so I'm going to take you up on your offer." "Good luck, then," said the widow. But she had a worried frown. Z seemed such a nice and friendly young man. "I'll see you in the morning," said Z, and off he went, striding up the hill. The big black door opened with a low creak. Z walked in, put down his things, and stretched out in the hay for a good night's sleep. But no sooner had he laid down his head than there was a sound from above him in the loft. Something heavy was moving. Z opened his eyes, and a deep voice boomed in darkness. "I am a huge and horrible beast." Z closed his eyes again and tried to ignore the voice. "I am a huge and horrible beast," came the voice again. "Well, so am I," said Z. There was a moment's silence. "What?" came the voice. "I said, so am I," said Z. "Now, keep your voice down. I'm trying to get some sleep." "You're a huge and horrible beast too," said the voice. "Yes," said Z. "Then pass me up one of your hairs." Z thought for a moment. Then he undid the twisty creeper wrapped round his waist. He passed it up through the opening into the loft. "Oh," said the voice, "that's one of your hairs." "Yes, that's one of my hairs," said Z. Said the voice. "Then show me your comb." "All right," said Z. Then he passed the gate through the opening into the loft. "That's your comb," said the voice. "Yes, that's my comb," said Z. Said the voice. "Well then, show me one of your nits." "All right," said Z, and he passed up the pig. "That's one of your nits," came the voice from upstairs, sounding rather scared. "That's one of my nits," said Z. "You really are a huge and horrible beast then," boomed the voice. "That's right," nodded Z. Next thing there was a shuffling of heavy feet upstairs. Then came a creak of a window opening, a loud thud, and the sound of something pounding off down the other side of the hill. "That's got rid of him," yawned Z. "I knew my dad's advice was wise." He was about to close his eyes to go to sleep, but then he felt a little curious to find out what the huge and horrible beast had been doing all those years up in the loft. So he pushed the ladder into the opening, climbed up, and what should he find there but a big chest? Inside the chest, what should there be but hundreds and hundreds of golden coins? The huge and horrible beast didn't come back, so in the morning Z took the chest of gold and gave it to the poor widow and her hungry children. The poor widow was delighted to find out she was rather a rich widow. She gave a big bag gold coins to Z. So Z went home with a fortune in his bag, and perhaps he used the money to go to night school and learn his 8 times table and how to spell extraordinary. and perhaps he didn't. Now that I've finished reading the book, go all the way back to the beginning for me and have a go at reading it yourself. If you are struggling, you can listen to me read it again by listening to the video, or on Oxford Owl you have the play button where they will read it to you. This week on Guided Reading we will be doing another word search. To access the word search, all you need to do is click the link that I will post in your portfolio. When you click the link, it will bring you to this page and you need to type your name and press start. Once that has loaded, you will need to press start again and find all the words down the side in your word search. Don't forget to send me a picture of your fantastic work. Enjoy and have fun.